My name is Larissa. I'm an author, publisher, and literary coach, and I've helped hundreds of authors turn ideas into published books. This is Getting Started, a micro-series where we tackle the biggest obstacles stopping aspiring authors from writing their books. Today's topic was originally called Finding Your Best Plotting Style, but that's garbage. You can go Google that and you'll get 1,000 opinions on how people think you should be plotting your book. I want to talk about how your brain wants to write a book, knowing your brain's process before you choose a process. So breakthrough number 1 is knowing how you think and create, not how you work. This is not about end product creation. This is not about thinking about your book in a physical form in the hands of a reader. You're not there yet. If you're still on first draft, this is about you. It's personal to you. If we were in a coaching relationship, I would be thinking about you and only you. I'm not going to go to YouTube and think about, okay, how can this person draft a book based on what someone else says? In a coaching relationship, it's very intimate. We look at the author as an individual because your brain is very, very different. The patterns you've created for success are very, very different. But what most people don't know is that how you think and how you create are very different than how you produce. Most people are very used to production. We go to our 9-to-5 job and it is about production. It's about getting things done. It's about checking things off the list. When it comes to your first draft, that is not the goal. The goal is not to get it done as fast as possible. The goal is to sit in it and figure out what this needs to be. You're exploring, you are creating. And most people are very uncomfortable in their creation brain. Knowing how my brain works and giving it space to do that process, to create in the way that feels most comfortable for it, will unlock pieces of yourself that you have been cut off from for a very, very long time. This is about understanding how your brain wants to create this book, what feels good to it. And a lot of us do not know that. For example, some of us are verbal processors. We need to talk in order to think. It's not a real thought until I've said it out loud. Others are more quiet. They need to sit, introspection time, journal. Other people prefer movement. They need to go out, they need to be walking, they need to be doing yard work, walking their dog, hanging out with their kid at the playground, and just thinking. Some people need complete stillness. They need to sit down. They need to meditate. They need to have their headphones on. They need to go to, sensory deprivation almost to be able to unlock the part of their brain that is capable of complex thinking and creating patterns and seeing connections that if we are just go, go, go all the time, hey, I've got this checklist, I got to get it off, your brain will miss things because it's not what it wants to default to. So I have a quick question for you. I want you to think about these 4 statements and choose one that feels most true to you. I think by talking. I think by writing. I think by moving. I think by sitting quietly and reflecting. I want you to think about that. What is your best way of thinking? Really deep, introspective thinking. Now, quick side note, if you're enjoying this series, you'll probably love Author Your Way. This episode is based on concepts from part 1 of the book. You can go ahead and grab an ebook or the audiobook completely free at nextpagepublishing.info/Author Your Way. Breakthrough number 2, it isn't about writing, it's about problem solving. You have a problem laying in front of you of a blank page, and you need to think about how am I going to solve this problem. A lot of us get hung up on the word writing. Some of us love it and they're like, yes, I'm so excited to write, yay. And others are like, oh my gosh, blank page, I'm terrified, I wasn't good at writing in school, I had an English teacher in grade 10 tell me don't quit my day job, right? We have all these beliefs that are going to stop us. And so the first draft is not about writing. It's not about being beautiful and polished and eloquent and flowing. It is about problem solving. How do I get myself from a blank page to a first draft manuscript? And you have so many examples of how to do this that are not related to writing at all. The best example I can come up with that most of us will relate to is, how do you plan a vacation? Some people will start with the destination. They want to know where they're going, and then they'll figure the rest of it out. Some people start with a budget. You have done projects of huge magnitude before. And I want you to lean into those because your brain will have naturally found a way that feels good for it to create this process. Did you start with the destination? Did you start with the budget? Where did you start? What felt good? How do you build a business? Where did you start? This is about unlocking what's good for your brain. What is step 1 for your brain? What is step 2 for your brain? And then just keep going from there. This is how you build the most successful version of a process for yourself because it is completely built around you and your history. And also ask yourself, if you've planned a vacation and you're like, my God, I hate planning vacations. That is absolutely the worst. Why? What about it is wrong? Because if you switched a few orders around in the process, you might find something that's a lot more comfortable. Quick reminder, if you have questions about your book, I want you to leave it in the comments of this episode. I'm going to be collecting all the questions throughout the series and answering as many as possible in our final Q&A episode. All right, let's get to breakthrough number 3. It's not a book yet, so stop thinking about it like it is one. This is the most interesting thing to me. People, when they think about their book, they picture it in hardcover in readers' hands. And I'm sorry, my friend, that's not what it is yet. There are so many steps between where you are now and where you're going to be that thinking about just the end goal is going to get in your way. Books are created 1,000 different ways and end up at the same spot. It's like picking up a GPS and you want to get across the country. There are literally thousands of routes you can choose that are going to get you to the same spot. But if you only think about the destination, you're going to miss all of the options available to you in the end. If you only listen to the TikTok influencers and the Instagram gurus about how to write your book and what's the best process for you, then you're going to miss the beautiful things that are waiting for you in this journey. So instead of thinking of a book like idea, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Think about as story, example, framework, conclusion, introduction, pieces that will eventually flush out into a book, and that's going to be your work of second draft and dev editors. But right now, think about it as pieces of something that are going to come together into a whole. This is particularly useful if you are an author who really struggles to go A, B, C, D, especially if you have ADHD. And you're used to jumping around and going in all these different directions. Think about this book in chunks. What is the story I want to tell? What are the examples I want to give? What's the framework I'm trying to teach? Where do I want to start? Where do I want to end? Think about it like that. I'm going to give you a secret. A book in the very beginning is just a pile of ideas. Every single book you love, every author you admire, every brand that you have followed for ages has always started as a pile of ideas, completely unorganized, absolutely no structure. They don't know where they're going. They don't know where they're starting. And eventually it comes together. All right, 60-second activity. I want you to compare your creation brain to your work brain. They are so different, and I want you to tell me how. What does your creation brain need to feel safe? Again, we are so good at production and output, but what would it feel like to sit in creation for a while? An hour. How would that feel in your body? What are you gonna do when your brain is like, wow, this is uncomfortable and I don't wanna be here? Your creation brain does not doubt itself. It doesn't. It is excited to be here. So what does that look like for you? How do you tap into the creation brain so that you can create a book?